Good afternoon, everybody. It's Jim, and today Matt's a little under the weather, so we're not going to be able to see him today, but that's okay. We'll do our best to keep you up to date on what's going on. Tonight, Madison Square Garden is going to be absolutely off of the hook. It is the game 3 of the series between, of course, the Spurs and the Knicks, and I think certainly I was surprised, and Matt as well, that San Antonio had not yet gotten a better situation. Things just they've blown leads. They've looked young. They've looked like they hadn't been there before, which, in fairness, they hadn't. So the perhaps not physically better team, but certainly a wiser, older team in the case of the Knicks, have now won 13 consecutive playoff games. So you got to believe that what they're talking about is a pretty darn good package. That game will be seen tonight. It will be on ABC. It will be on Sportsnet if you're watching us from Canada. And unquestionably, one of the most entertaining evenings in New York in a long, long, long time. And I think that's really what we're looking at with regard to tonight's game. It's just really going to be an amazing situation. President Trump will be there, and it'll be one of his first visits back to the Garden in many, many years. But that will do one thing, and that means that we're going to have no outdoor watch party, which they've done in the past. So that's not going to happen. There will be, without any question, watch parties all over the area, but it's going to be very interesting to see how that goes. I think anybody who doubted Jalen Brunson's ability to be a star in this league can no longer do that after watching what he's done. Becoming, in essence, the king of New York. He's been phenomenal. And, so tonight at the Garden, Wemby and San Antonio has to get it together because right now it doesn't look good. You go down 2-0, and those games are in your building. And then you go on the road to face a very difficult New York team playing in Madison Square Garden. No matter how good you are, I got to say, it really does not bode well because that place is going to be, rocking and off the hook. So we'll see what goes on. Right now, there's everything pointing to the Knicks going up 3-0 and perhaps even a sweep. I mean, I know last week when we were talking about this, the last thing we were talking about was a sweep. We thought this would be a 6 or 7 game series, and it still might. But it really is going to be tough to see how that works out. Because game 3 in this particular venue, the NBA Finals, you really have to have your act together. There's no question that San Antonio is going to feel the pressure, but it really is going to come home to roost tonight in Madison Square Garden. Let's go and take a quick look about the tickets. Now, the tickets prices include all fees. All right, Spurs and Knicks today. Let's take a look and see what tickets are available and how much they cost. Okay, yep, 2 tickets. All right. Okay, section 221. Okay, here we go. There's 2 tickets left in the cheap seats, and the cheap seats are $5,197. Okay. Now, if you want to go to the end zone portion, which again is upper deck there, that's $7,209 in the upper deck. So if you're in the upper reaches of the building, and I mean the upper reaches of the building, you're not getting in for less than $5,000. Okay, actually more to closer to 55 grand. So let's take a look as we move down. We move down to the next level, and you're in the $9,000 area, moving down to the 100s, which is, it's not courtside. It's still up a bit, but there are $8,000 tickets. There's $10,000 tickets in some areas which are closer to the court. Then you get down to the area around, not courtside again, but around that court area. There are 2 tickets for $16,000 left, 2 tickets for $39,000 left, 2 tickets at a bargain, $11,000, 2 tickets at $21,000, and 2 courtside tickets left at $160,000. Okay, $160,000 for 2 courtside tickets. So great. Woof. I'm telling you. All right, let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a pretty amazing situation. You got the NHL, and that again will be on ABC. And it's just, I don't know if you know, the Knights and the Hurricanes have played 3 amazing hockey games. I mean, I'll tell you what, sign me up for a 7-game series if they're all going to be like this. You know, it's really wild. The Golden Knights, you know, went into Carolina and were up 4-0 Saturday night, and going into the third period, and you're like, I don't know if you were like me. I'm like, 4-0. Well, you know, no sense here. We'll just, you know, write this one off. And then all of a sudden, the Hurricanes tie the game, and it's like, it's almost unbelievable that Carolina could come back from 4 goals in the third period to tie the game. They go into overtime. That doesn't end. You know, nobody scores in overtime. And then 5 minutes into the overtime, the Golden Knights get the winning goal. And, you know, the rest is history. But what a phenomenal game that was. And really just sets the stage for another game. You know, this would be tomorrow night. Again, this one's on ABC. In Carolina, where the Golden Knights come up against the Carolina Hurricanes. And that's going to be, it's going to be really amazing. It's going to be a phenomenal game, game 4. The Golden Knights look to go up 3-1. Carolina looks to even the series at 2-2 tomorrow night. So pretty amazing stuff right there. Let's take a quick look at some of the headlines having to do with the NFL. Yes, let's do that. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. The cap casualties. Who's going to be the cap casualties, trade fireworks, what's going on? 10 players who get traded before the season deadline, and this is according to ESPN. So these are the 10 players. They think Max Crosby, who's an edge rusher of the Las Vegas Raiders, is most likely to get traded before he was traded. He was actually traded to Baltimore, but then that didn't work out because of medical issues. So he's still on the market. James Conner, running back, Arizona Cardinals. Um, you know, they've got Jeremiah Love. They also picked up Tyler Algier. Those of you who know college football know that he was the star running back in Notre Dame. Connor has accepted a pay cut last spring, but it's possible that he could be sent packing. He's a very solid back. James Conner's going to help any team that he lands on because he can catch the ball out of the backfield and he can run. Brandon Ayuk, wide receiver, San Francisco 49ers. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I think that Ayuk is scheduled to earn $27 million this season for the Niners. The money wasn't initially guaranteed when he signed his extension in 2024, but the team voided the guarantee last year over failure by Ayuk to fulfill his contractual requirements. So there's beef between these two. And it's very likely that the Niners will, try to trade him, perhaps even let him go, because otherwise they may end up having to pay him, over $20 million. Kyle Pitts. I know this one I'm not sure why ESPN thinks Kyle Pitts is going to get traded. He's, of course, the tight end who is more of a wide receiver tight end type. He's not physically like a George Kittle or, one of the big, strong, physically gifted tight ends. He's much more of a good pass route runner. He's got much more speed than most of the tight ends out there. So he's got an extension right now. He wants to get the money taken care of. So Atlanta's trying to extend him, but they don't know what that price is going to be. Their top receiver, of course, is Drake London, and he's got a 4-year, $141 million deal. Sources close to the team say that the agent for, Bijan Robinson is about to get a massive extension. Pitts could be part of the plan too, but he's scheduled to get $15 million this year, and he's playing on the franchise tag, possibly, if the extension isn't done before July. He's coming off an 88-catch, 928-yard season, 5 touchdowns, but previous campaigns were spotty at best. The Falcons have a brand new coaching staff, brand new front office, and we don't know. We don't know what they can do for Kyle Pitts. It's not really Kyle Pitts' fault that numbers fell off last season because, to be honest, they had issues at quarterback. They're going to have issues at quarterback this year. So for Kyle Pitts, he's still he's like James Conner. If you can get him and Atlanta's willing to let him go for a reasonable amount of money or draft choices or a combination, any team out there would be a fool not to try to land Kyle Pitts. He's somebody who you put him in your receiver room and you get yourself some really good possibilities there. Spencer Rattler, quarterback of the Saints, they have going. Now, this is a year ago in 2024. He was a 5th-round draft pick. He was in camp. In the 2025 season, they also got a hold of Tyler Schlow, who for right now is their starting quarterback. Rattler actually won that competition and started for the Saints 8 games last season, but Slow took over and finished strong. The Saints enter the 2026 season with Sloth firmly entrenched as their starting quarterback. Now, the team signed 2021 overall pick Zach Wilson this offseason, who also is a quarterback. So if Rattler is the odd man out, he should generate some interest. His 14 NFL starts haven't been great. To be honest, the Saints lost 13 of them, but it wasn't due to him. Okay. he really, his numbers were good. He's also 25 years old. He's still plenty of time ahead of him on his NFL career. So don't be surprised that the Broncos head coach Sean Payton, um, who still has some strong ties to New Orleans, where he, made his bones before heading out to Denver. Don't be surprised if Sean doesn't go in there and grab Spencer Rattler for a song. Josh Sweat, Arizona Cardinals edge rusher. Now, he signed a while back a 4-year, $76 million contract with Arizona. He was cashing in off of his Super Bowl win with the Eagles. Now, obviously, things didn't go well last season for the Cardinals in general. They have a new head coach and a new defensive scheme. Sweat is staying away from Arizona's offseason programs. Of course, now that, remember, the OTAs are optional. And he's letting it be known that he's not happy there. An acquiring team would take a guarantee $17 million in 2027 in compensation for Sweat. There's no years remaining on that money of his contract, so it's guaranteed after that. You could get Sweat for less than $17,000, $1 million. That's a good deal. The Cardinals would take on about $22 million in dead money from this deal if they made a trade. It's very likely they will. Right now, New England, Dallas make a lot of sense for Sweat. Washington may make some an ideal landing spot there. Depending upon what happens in Tampa Bay, the Bucs could be in on him. There's a lot of teams that could use Josh Sweat, and we'll see how that goes. Alvin Kamara, running back in New Orleans Saints. It's hard to believe that the Saints running back, Kamara, who's going to be 31 later this month, didn't have one of his big seasons last year. He only touched the ball 164 times. He only ran for 657 yards from scrimmage. But New Orleans doled out some big money to Travis Etienne Jr., as we all remember, in free agency. They've got a very crowded running back room. All of the running backs are really talented young guys. Excuse me. But Kamara has 1 year left on his contract, which has been amended so many times it's difficult to actually realize just what they are paying him or what they aren't paying him. But Alvin Kamara was one of the key points in the Saints offense for years. And, if they choose to part with him, as ESPN is assuming they are, anybody, again, who gets Alvin Kamara is going to get themselves. He's not an every down back anymore. All right, we get that. But he is a situational back who can still run, and he catches passes as good as anybody in the league. So keep an eye out for that. Well, John Harbaugh, who's now the coach of the Giants, has an interesting situation here. Keon Thibodeau, who's an edge rusher, is a guy who, under normal circumstances, Harbaugh would absolutely love to have. Yet, he's still there, and they drafted Avion Reese at the number 5 spot. He is an edge rusher. Thibodeau's making $14.7 million this year in his 5th year option season of his rookie contract. Teams aren't too keen on the idea of money for players. In other words, do they pay him, money, buying him basically from the Giants, which is what it looks like they're trying to do. They're trying to get that $14 million off the books. New England has had and shown interest in making some phone calls to see if if he is available, as has the Dallas Cowboys. Both teams needing some edge rushing. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Mac Jones, who's the next guy up on this list. Mac, of course, San Francisco 49ers backup quarterback. He's 27 years old. Many people remember in 2021, he was the first round pick. Started 8 games for the Niners last year in relief when Brock Purdy was hurt. San Francisco won 5 of those games, which means he's helped them get to the playoffs. He's definitely a kid who has a good upside. He posted some good career numbers. He had a completion percentage of almost 70%, a quarterback rating of almost 63%, and he's in the final year of a short contract. So getting him would cost about $3 to $4 million, which is cheap. If you're looking for a backup, he would be your guy. Let's say if you're the Chargers, right, and something happens to Justin Herbert, you need somebody. Same if you're in Cincinnati and Joe Burrow. These are things that kind of fly under the radar. But I do think Mac Jones is going to land somewhere. I don't think he's going to be the backup quarterback this year for the 49ers. Although it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to keep him. That's for darn sure. So let's go over and check what's going on today in Major League Baseball, where all kinds of crazy is going on. All righty, let's take a look what we got. We got the Mariners in Charm City to take on the Baltimore Orioles tonight. Baltimore just lost 3-game series to the Blue Jays in their battle for third place in the American League East. Both teams are the Mariners coming into this game 34 up and 32 down. Orioles 31 up and 35 down, so they're 4 games under 500. Tonight, Hancock goes for Seattle. Baltimore has yet to decide who they're going to pitch. Red Sox Rays, this is a key game for Tampa Bay as they enter a stretch where they're now tied with the New York Yankees. I mean, they're separated by percentage points, but technically they're tied. The Sox are coming into this game, just poor. They're incredibly poor. They have not played well in a series that they played against the Yankees over the weekend. The Rays had a horrible weekend as well. They didn't play well against the Marlins down in Miami. So the Rays need this. They need to get back on track. The Red Sox need it because if they're ever going to catch up, they got to start right now. Tonight, Early's pitching for Boston. He's 5-3 with a 3.26 ERA. Against Seymour, he is 3-0 with a 5.23 ERA. So there you go. All right, the Yankees, as we just said, who are tied with the Rays, start tonight with a 3-game series in Cleveland against the Guardians. And without Aaron Judge, the Guardians are 37-30, the Yankees 38-26. Warren is throwing for the Yankees tonight. Williams throwing for Cleveland. Phillies Blue Jays, an interesting matchup there. And that's, right now the Phillies are in second place in the division. And very interesting setup there in that regard. Phillies are 36-30. 35-30. The Jays are surprisingly 2 games under at 32-34. So Sanchez is going tonight for the Phils. Corbin is going for the Jays tonight. The Astros and the Angels. That game's been played at the Big A in Anaheim. Arrighetti is pitching for Houston. Rodriguez is pitching for Los Angeles. Both these teams are under 500. Both these teams have not played well, to say the least. Let's take a quick look at 9:40 tonight. The Padres are hosting the Reds. The Reds are 2 games under 500. The Padres are 2 games over 500. And they're at home. Abbott throwing for Cincinnati. Walker Buehler on the hill for San Diego. The Nationals are in San Francisco. The Nationals are at 500. The Giants are 27 and 39, and actually haven't even been playing well at home. So Washington is going with Miles Mikolas. Now, the last time that Mikolas pitched, he pitched really good. Now, this I know his 1 win and 5 loss record with a 6.39 ERA doesn't sound or look good, but they got 7 innings out of him last start. And so if they can get 7 innings out of him in San Francisco, that's going to be a big deal for the Nationals. The Giants are going to counter with Webb. He's 3-4 with a 4.25 ERA. The problem with Webb is that he hasn't gone deep into any games that they played this year. Brewers are in Sacramento to take on the Athletics tonight. The Brew Crew is 40 and 23, sitting atop the Central Division. The Athletics are 31 and 34. Ball game tonight. Milwaukee's got Harrison. He's one of the top pitchers in the National League. 7-1, 1.57 ERA. Springs is on the hill for the Athletics. He's 3.6 with a 3.37 ERA. So that's your baseball tonight. We talked about the NBA. We talked about the NHL. We talked about the NFL. And just stay tuned, boys and girls, because plenty of stuff going on with the World Cup this week, and Sean and the gang are going to be all over it. So keep your eye open for what's happening, because, as I said before, Sean and outstanding group of soccer analysts coming up. World Cup is just a few days away, Thursday, by the way. So get ready. Get your popcorn ready, boys and girls. It's going to be a lot of soccer, and we got the guys who know about it. So that's what's coming up. So anyway, for our buddy Matt, who is unfortunately under the weather, he'll be here tomorrow, and we hope that you had a great day with us on Monday, and we will see you sometime around that noon time tomorrow. So get your lunch ready and join us tomorrow, me and Matt, for the show. Take care, everybody.